Navy recovers bodies of 5 fishermen reported missing when their vessel capsized after a deep-sea collision. Former ASP of Amblipitia arrested. A revelation on the party that will be formed by opposition MPs.
Sri Lanka නිදහස් පෙරමුණ. මේ පක්ෂයේ ලකුණ මල් පොහොත්තු.
අලුත් සමුදායට එකතු වෙන්න අලුත් පක්ෂයක් අවශ්‍යයි. ඒ පක්ෂය තමයි එකතු වෙන්නේ.
මේ රටේ උකුණු තල්ලක මොලේ තියෙන කිසිම කෙනෙක් උදේගම්මන් පිළගේ මේ තියරි එක කවදාවත් පිළිගන්නේ නැහැ.
An agreement between the United National Front and Sarath Fonseca, a revelation from Deputy Minister Harsha De Silva. Lasith Malinga to lead Sri Lanka at the World T20.
Hello there, very good evening and welcome to your primetime news bulletin with me, Shane Silva, and my co-anchor Nicola De Souza. A very good evening, Nicola.
Good evening, Shane. Before we take a look at tonight's stories in detail, remember you can join the conversation by following our Twitter handle Newsfirst_EN and using the hashtags featured on each of our stories tonight.
Your tweets will be telecast during the course of the bulletin.
Now on to our top story. The national event for World Wetlands Day 2016 was held at the Pambala Fisheries Harbour in Chilau this morning. The event was held under the auspices of President Maithripala Sirisena.
The President marked the event by planting a tree sapling. Thereafter, a commemorative stamp and a first-day cover was issued to mark World Wetlands Day 2016. A number of ministers and public representatives also took part in the celebrations. Due to the environmental destruction which has been caused, certain parts of the world today are facing a crisis where they are compelled to walk around with a bag of oxygen attached to them. Certain businessmen and organizations are running their businesses solely for their love of money and with no regard for the environment. It is important that all of us, including the leaders of this country, state officials, the general public and children included, work with a broad understanding towards this responsibility we have at hand at a national level.
As mentioned in your headlines tonight, the bodies of 5 fishermen whose vessel collided with a commercial vessel have been discovered by the Sri Lanka Navy.
Navy media spokesperson Captain Akram Alavi said that the bodies were found entangled in fishing nets during search operations conducted by the Sri Lanka Navy using 2 Dora vessels. The bodies of M. Ananda, Harendra Pushpakumara and Namal Ranjit, who were residents of Rathkama, Shantakumar Herath, a resident from Galgamur, and H.R.B. Caldera, a resident of Jayala, were found. One of the fishermen who was aboard the multi-day fishing trawler when it collided with the commercial vessel in the deep sea off the southern coast was rescued by another vessel.
Several public representatives visited the Walikada remand prison today as well to meet Yoshitha Rajapaksa and the detainees arrested with him.
Relatives including MP Namal Rajapaksa visited Yoshitha Rajapaksa today as well. Several SLFP ministers and MPs who are seated with the government also visited the detainees today. With regard to the FCID, many are saying that this institution is illegal at a time when the Police Commission is also functioning. We are hoping to discuss this matter with His Excellency President Maithripala Sirisena. We also hope to hold talks with the Prime Minister since this institution has been placed under his purview. We will not leave the Sri Lanka Freedom Party, but we are prepared to abandon the post of Deputy Minister or even pawn it. We have faith that a decision will be made on this. Meanwhile, a group of lawyers also convened a media briefing today and expressed their views on the matter. We wish to issue a statement to the media on the case P98/23. This has been issued under the official emblem of the police. We ask that US media organizations give prominence to the final sentence in this. Where did they get the right form? Charges have not been filed yet. Investigations are still underway. Can they do this in such an instance? The manner in which the police and the government are acting in this special case is very suspicious. Several ministers also commented on the detention of the suspects. This is the latest operation by the CSN channel. We have changed its name to the channel, but that turns black money white. Where does the CSN channel have its office? It is located on a land gifted by M.H. Mohammed to the Rajapaksa Foundation. How can a private office operate from a land gifted to the Rajapaksa Foundation? Don't you think that this itself is wrong? When you go near the Valikada prison, you can see the crying parents of a man who committed murder. It is saddening. Any parent will shed tears of sadness for their children. When the former leader of a country sheds a tear, it is true that it will cause sadness among the people who voted for him. But we are saddened that these authoritarians are still trying to turn this into a vote by inciting the people. The younger son has said, do not trample the lion's tail. They are leveling such challenges when they are not in power. What would happen to the country if they were in power? If the youngest had power, the country would be in pieces today. Even now we are against the FCID, but Yoshida Rajapaksa has now been arrested. Is this fair or unfair? This must be decided by the court. Thereby we request that instead of constantly washing this and placing it in the mud again, and instead of turning this into a beggar's wound, the Attorney General must act to take this to trial. I wish to state that we have complete faith in the judicial system.
In other local news, leader of the National Freedom Front, Vimal Weerawansa, made the following statement at a media briefing held today.
The premise for this has been built by none other than DIG Anuradha Dissanayake, who assigns one of his henchmen to ask the questions. He bolds aloft a delivery and the minister dashes it on the ground. The decision to arrest the group, including Yoshida Rajapaksa, was made by the president and 3 ministers. Furthermore, there were 2 NGO representatives who were there as civil society representatives and a very senior police officer. President Maithripala Sirisena is not a president who would stoop so low as to call up various police officers and order them to arrest various persons. Vimal Weerawansa should keep this in mind. They are facing the consequences for what they have done. Vimal Weerawansa is tangled up in a number of ways today. He is unable to account for about 22 million which they had earned arbitrarily. I have faith in this, and I am happy to say that within a week or two, Vimal Weerawansa too will go to Valikada.
In your developing story this evening, the subject of the formation of a new political party, including several opposition MPs, continues to court controversy in political circles.
While rumours are abound regarding the new party, there are indications that the symbol of this party will be a flower bud.
There is, however, a political party called the Appealable Sri Lanka Nidahas Peramuna, which already contests under the symbol of the flower bud.
When News first made inquiries, it was revealed that this party arose from the Sri Lanka National Front, which contested the concluded general election.
The new political front of the joint opposition is a major topic on the political stage at present. However, in the backdrop of the country's election laws, is it possible to form a new party at this time?
While the accepting of nominations for the Maritime Pattu and Pudukudiri Pradesh Sabhas from the Mullaitivu district has concluded, since the court has issued a decision to postpone the vote, the Election Commission is yet unable to accept applications for or register new political parties.
So the new front will have to contest under an existing party. When speaking of these parties, there is a lot of talk at present about the flower bud symbol. Vimal Giganage's party owns its symbol. What is the name of your party?
ඔබතුමාගේ පක්ෂේ නම මොකක්ද? පක්ෂේ නම අපේ ශ්‍රී ලංකා නිදහස් පෙරමුණ. මේ පක්ෂේ ලකුණ මල් පොහොට්ටුව. හැබැයි අපි දන්නා ආකාරයට ඔබතුමාට පැවති පක්ෂය මේ නෙවෙයි. ඔව්. මොකක්ද නම? ශ්‍රී ලංකා ජාතික පෙරමුණ. ශ්‍රී ලංකා ජාතික පෙරමුණේ ලකුණ මොකක්ද? ක්‍රිකට් විත් බැට් එක. ඇයි ඒක එකපාරට මල් පොහොට්ටුවට වෙනස් වෙන්නේ? ඒක කාලින අවස්ථාවක් මත වෙච්ච සිද්ධින් ඒ අපේ නම වෙනස් වුණේ කොයි කාලෙද? මේ පහුගිය මැතිවරණ කාර්යය. පක්ෂයේ සභාපති අපේ ජ්‍යෙෂ්ඨ මහාචාර්ය උතුරාවල හඳුරු පක්ෂ නායකයා මම මේ තනතුරු ඉදිරි මාස කිහිපේ වෙනස් වෙන්න පුළුවන්. පුළුවන් බොහෝ විට පුළුවන්. ඔබතුමා කොයි වගේ කෙනෙක්ටද පක්ෂ නායකත්වයේ දන් දෙන්න ලෑස්ති වෙන්නේ? බඩට පෙරහට කියන තේමාවත් එක්ක ඒ මග යන නායකයෙකුට ඒ ගෝඨාභය රාජපක්ෂ මහත්තයාද බැසිල් රාජපක්ෂ මහත්තයාද මහින්ද රාජපක්ෂ මහත්තයාද? ඒක දැම්මම කියන්නේ පහුගිය 27 වෙනිදා මගේ මතකයේ නිවැරදි නම් මේ නිවසට මහින්ද රාජපක්ෂ මහත්තයා පැමිණෙනවා. රහස් සාකච්ඡාවක් තියෙනවා. ඉතින් අපේ පක්ෂ සම්බන්ධව අපි විමසුම් කරා. අවසාන වශයෙන් මම යලිත් අහනවා
Finally, I wish to ask you, you are prepared to hand over party leadership. Will it be to Basil Rajapaksa, Gotabaya Rajapaksa or Mahinda Rajapaksa?
It could be one of them. We shall see what the future holds. It won't be too long into the future. We shall entrust this to the foreseeable future.
These are the views expressed at two separate media briefings regarding the new political party.
The Sri Lanka Freedom Party is in a matrimonial pact with the United National Party, but a majority of SLFP members oppose this. They need a new party to join the new alliance. That is the party that is being established. The Gamman pillars entered politics just recently, that too using SLFP votes. But what is he doing now? The contract to divide the SLFP that helped him become a parliamentarian. Anyone who has the least amount of sense will not agree to this theory of Gamman pillar. We tell everyone in the SLFP, from every stage in the party, do not be fooled by the attempts of Gamman pillar and the contract he has undertaken on behalf of the United National Party. We do not want posts. We just want to safeguard the party members. We do not support any group. If the party decides tomorrow that it will defect from the government, we will happily do it. Even Maithripala Sirisena has a sound knowledge of the current political trend. Therefore, we are certain that he will not allow this party to break up because he has not done anything which would lead up to it.
Questions were raised at a media briefing convened by the UNP today on whether Democratic Party leader Sarath Fonseca would join the government. There is an agreement on the Democratic Party joining the United National Front, not the UNP. It will happen tomorrow. The seat in Parliament and this are two different factors. The General Secretary, the leader of our party, and others will decide on that.
How do you interpret this? How will society interpret it? When your party gives this seat to a party that was defeated and was rejected by the people.
Must I answer this? No, you are asking for my personal opinion, aren't you? It would not be right for me to say this to the media. Shall I tell you my personal opinion? On principle, I am against it if we are including defeated MPs through the national list. I am personally against it, but I am also of the position that there is an instance in the country where policies must change. I believe that his inclusion in the government will help strengthen national security and the functioning of the armed forces as well as cooperation with the armed forces. I believe there is a situation where this can be analysed. Meanwhile, the chief prelate of the Asgiri chapter of the Siam sect made a special statement to the media today.
I am very happy. We were able to win the 30-year-long war because of him. He was the commanding officer. He is very courageous. If he is given this position, then we can witness how he will use his intelligence in his functions. While expressing my happiness at the position being conferred to Fonseca, I invoke blessings on him and pray that he is given the opportunity for success in this matter.
A letter to former President Mahinda Rajapaksa addressed by Dulanjali Premadasa, the daughter of late President Ranasinghe Premadasa, was released to the media today.
The letter has been prompted by a statement made by former President Mahinda Rajapaksa targeting Dulanjali Premadasa. In a letter, Dulanjali Premadasa says that as a parent herself, she empathizes with former President Mahinda Rajapaksa and his wife on their son Yoshita's current legal status. However, she writes, quote, "But when you start dragging my good name into the mud, when I'm not involved in any of your present political problems, is when my sympathy turns to disgust," unquote. Reminiscing that the former president had resorted to the same during the concluded general election, Dulanjali Premadasa says, quote, "I did not arrest your son, Mr. Rajapaksa, nor did I make you to lose the election. You did it all by yourself with the help of your family," unquote. Furthermore, she says, quote, "My revered parents, President Premadasa and Mrs. Hema Premadasa, did a stellar job in raising my brother and myself to respect and uphold the law of God and the law of the land," unquote. As such, Dulanjali Premadasa writes, quote, "You should advise your children as their parent about leading their lives in a manner which befits their position in society," unquote. She says that the former president should be aware that she is not an accused and that this particular matter is an ongoing court case and as such, legally it cannot be discussed. Furthermore, she writes, quote, "Mr. Rajapaksa, one must face situations and not hide behind baseless accusations directed at innocent people," unquote. In a letter to the former president, Dulanjali Premadasa concludes, quote, "Your false and arrogant claims of your letting me free when, according to you, I was wrong, tantamount to a serious crime which can place you in jail for interfering in the course of justice and a police investigation," unquote.
In business news tonight, a group of representatives of the International Monetary Fund has arrived in the country to carry out an annual review.
The group of representatives met with the Minister of Finance, Ravi Karunanayake, today. The group has arrived in the country to follow up on the standby arrangement facility provided by the IMF in 2009. The group will carry out an extensive follow-up on the economic situation of the country in a number of sectors. Looking at economic growth and the trends, it was stated that there was success to some extent. We held an open discussion with them on global crises and we concluded by discussing how to protect Sri Lanka. We will meet again on Friday. Meanwhile, a delegation headed by the Japanese ambassador to Sri Lanka also met with the Minister of Finance today to discuss domestic investment and opportunities for Japanese investors.
Minister of Housing and Construction Sajid Premadasa attended an event held in the Galwava area in Hambantota.
Construction work on the 42nd Model Village under the 77 Model Village project commenced today. We will protest against the functions organised by the government. We will also stage a protest on Independence Day celebrations. We will develop the construction activities of the country. This is what they say during the day and at the media briefings. Trust me, my dear friends, at night they come and ask what ministerial position will they get if they change sides. They go hunting for ministerial positions during the nights.
The powers of the Presidential Commission of Inquiry to investigate and inquire into serious acts of fraud, corruption and abuse of power, state resources and privileges have been expanded. The Gazette notification has been issued by the President.
Secretary to the Presidential Commission of Inquiry, Lasil De Silva, said that the Commission's powers enabling them to investigate bank accounts have been expanded. Lasil De Silva added that accordingly, the Commission will now have the power to call for bank statements of persons summoned for questioning in relation to an incident, as well as bank statements of their spouses and children. On a prior occasion, the Commission had made a request to be given additional powers to be able to discharge their services effectively, given the nature of the petitions filed with the Commission.
Have we forgotten?
Two serious allegations raised against Udayango Weeratunga, the former ambassador of Sri Lanka to Russia. Allegation 1, regarding the death of Noel Ranavira, who was a diplomatic officer attached to the Sri Lankan embassy in Moscow. Weapon sales to 19 Ukrainian separatist rebels. The Ministry of Foreign Affairs states that a complaint has been received that the weapons were sold to Ukrainian rebels. We have received detailed allegations citing that Udayango Weeratunga had provided weapons to the rebels in Ukraine. I have seen that document myself. A communique was issued by Udayango Weeratunga stating his innocence regarding the matter. The communique read that there is no criminal investigation carried out against him in Ukraine. Even though it was stated that Udayango Weeratunga was in the Ukrainian capital, Kiev, the Ministry of Foreign Affairs on the 3rd of June last year stated that he had arrived at the Sri Lankan embassy in Iran on the 5th of May last year. It was added that he had arrived at the embassy to obtain a tenant's license to clear 2 containers that were registered under his name. The Colombo Magistrates Court granted permission to inspect the two containers based on a request made by the Police Financial Crimes Investigation Division. In truth, if it is proven, he could lose his civil rights. Udayanga Weerathunga, a close relative of the Rajapaksas who functioned as ambassador to Russia from 2006 until the day before yesterday, is the person who intervened to bring these to Ukraine.
අපිට ප්‍රශ්නයක් තියෙනවා උදයංග වීරතුංගලාවත් මේ රටේ මහජන දේපල කොල්ල කාපු පුද්ගලයන් අත්අඩංගුවට ගනිද්දී
We are wondering as to what basis people are being taken into custody when there are individuals such as Udayanga Weerathunga who are out there. These people are attempting to move forward with having any plan in mind. We are wondering as to how these people are arresting, punishing individuals and implementing the law. Is it a political objective or are they fulfilling the people's mandate? We urge the authorities to implement the law in an efficient manner as we are also keeping an eye as to how things are proceeding.
එහෙම මැදිහත් නොවීම පිළිබඳව තොරතුරු කියන්න දූෂණ විරෝධී හඬට අපි හැමදාම අවදියෙන් ඉන්නවා.
Have we forgotten?
The former Assistant Superintendent of Police of Ambalipitiya, C. Dharmaratna, has been arrested by the Criminal Investigations Department over the death of a youth during a party in Ambalipitiya.
The Criminal Investigations Department said that former ASP of Ambalipitiya, C. Dharmaratna, was arrested after he was summoned to the CID this afternoon. The former Assistant Superintendent of Police is scheduled to be produced before the Ambalipitiya Magistrates Court tomorrow.
For the happiness of our children, the island-wide campaign launched by Newsfirst to highlight the importance of child protection recommenced today.
The second phase of the campaign for the happiness of our children commenced at Science College in Mount Lavinia today. Awareness was raised among school children with the assistance of the Police Women's and Children's Bureau.
During the program, he educated us on our position in society, how we should treat our parents and the importance of our parents in society. We hope that this program, undertaken island-wide by the Sirasa TV network to educate both students and parents on the protection of children, will enable us to bring forth a generation of upstanding citizens for the country and our society.
The campaign for the happiness of our children will get underway at schools across the islands.
I wish to especially thank the Sirasa Network on behalf of the Sri Lanka Police Department. If you continue to support us through such endeavours, I have no doubt that we will be able to completely eradicate the rapidly growing number of crimes against children in our country.
In your sports news tonight, Sri Lanka Cricket announced today that Lasith Malinga will captain the Sri Lanka team at the upcoming World T20 and Asia T20 tournaments. Angelo Matthews will function as vice-captain. Meanwhile, a media briefing was convened today to introduce the new coach of the Sri Lanka cricket team, Graham Ford.
The Asia Cup will be held as a T20 tournament this year. Dinesh Chandimal will captain the Sri Lankan team at the 3-match T20 Series Tour of India, which will be held prior to the Asia T20 and World T20 tournaments. Lasith Malinga and Angelo Matthews have been ruled out of the tour due to injuries. At today's media briefing, the new coach of the Sri Lankan team, Graham Ford, spoke of his plans moving forward.
It is going to take some time to build a really competitive team, and it needs to be done on a solid foundation. And all of that needs to be thought through pretty solidly.
55-year-old Graham Ford previously coached Sri Lanka from 2012 to 2014. Journalists also raised questions on whether new coaches would be appointed for teams including the Sri Lanka A team. We are not hoping to make any changes. Be understanding and give us some time. We need to fix this from the top. We have not decided to remove anyone who has talent. I will not look at popular names. We are looking at their skill and talent. The Asia Cup will commence on the 24th of February in Bangladesh, while the World T20 tournament will commence on the 8th of March in India.
Well, that's a wrap of tonight's primetime news. Thank you for joining us. For the News First team, I'm Nicola De Zoiza.
And I'm Shane Silva. Take care and good night.